So, before I even get into this, I want to start off by saying I'm into shipping. I am pro shipping. I've been a fan of fan fiction since I was like 10 and had no business on fanfiction.net. Why do I say that? Well, it's because I don't want this video to give off like hater energy. I don't want to be considered one of those people who don't support fan fiction when I literally read it every day. And I'm not one who judges what someone reads. I don't care. This is just my opinion. Why does everybody have to say that these days? Like, shouldn't it be obvious that if I'm making a video, it is my opinion? Like, people act as if when you post a video, it is objective facts. Like, this person thinks that everybody should feel this way. No, this is me. Me.
Shut the fuck up, okay?
As long as you're not getting upset at the author for whatever ship is canon or having online arguments with other fans, I'm all for having creative pairings. I recently came upon a Reddit post that said, "What is a ship or character you hate that your fandom loves?" And when I saw this question, my mind started to immediately conjure up images. I just had to make a video on this. Most of the ships I'm going to talk about today are not canon, but I will be briefly talking about the canon ships or other non-canon ships while on the topic, just to maybe compare how I feel about a specific ship to another. All of these ships were favored by a large portion of the fandom, in my opinion, if not the majority. I was going to do these in order of my least to most hated, but I'm actually going to mix it up just to keep everybody on their toes. I would like to say, even though I do not like any of these ships, I can definitely see why they have a following and why they're beloved by many, just not me. This is just meant to be something to get my thoughts out. I'll discuss why I don't like these ships, but I'll also give my favorite moment from their time on screen, just to like appease the people who are going to inevitably go into the comments and tell me why I'm either wrong for not liking the ship or for shipping at all. This list will contain spoilers for the shows that I talk about, and I'll have a timestamp if you would like to skip those parts. Anyway, let's get into the first ship. For those of you unfamiliar, Avatar: The Last Airbender is about a boy named Aang who is the Avatar, and he's tasked with learning all four elements and saving the world from the Fire Nation. After disappearing 100 years, the Fire Nation was allowed to take over the majority of the world, throwing people and the elements off balance. He travels with Katara, Sokka, and the gang to do all of this, all while being chased by a number of people. One of the more constant chasers of the group is Zuko, an ex-prince from the Fire Nation who was banished with the task of bringing back the Avatar. I want to say first that I understand fanfiction can change the characters' decisions and relations with one another. However, I can't ship something that I didn't vibe with in the first place, especially like if the canon material doesn't give me what I need to look at it as a couple. Ever since I was a fan of this series, I've known about Zutara. The fan art, the amount of people who shipped it and wished it was canon, I've seen all of it. I think there are two things that make this ship appealing. One is the enemies to lovers trope, like everybody loves that. And I want to say I'm a fan of the trope too, just not with this one. The second reason I think is because the elements complement each other. Water and fire, it speaks for itself. I understand it feels really good to see characters that previously hated each other heal and form a bond. I have a ship that closely resembles that in every single fandom damn near. But there are a number of reasons why I just don't feel it with this one. So if we're going to be honest, Avatar is one of those shows where I have a launcher of 1,000 ships. Oh my god, I feel like I'm back in 2013. If you're unfamiliar with the term, it is, by my definition, a character that you or majority of the fandom tend to ship with anyone and potentially everyone in that cast. A few good examples are Harry Potter, Midoriya from My Hero, and Dean Winchester from Supernatural. It's usually either because the character is very popular or because they have a great relationship with most of the cast. I have this with Avatar, and my launcher is Aang. I think he's an amazing character, and his personality allows lots of room for creativity with the cast. Almost all of the fics that I've read with this fandom have to do with Aang. Do you see the issue now? With Zutara, neither of the two in this pairing contains the character I prefer to ship. In fact, I ship both Katara and Zuko with Aang, and them being paired messes up that balance in my eyes. But that's not only the reason. Another reason is I think Avatar is just one of those shows that was written amazingly. I don't have a problem with any of the characters being with the characters that they're with. I think everyone ended up with who they were supposed to end up with, and I don't feel like that often in fandom. Sokka ended up with Suki. Toph, you know what? They really didn't give Toph nobody, but I'm not mad at it just because Toph was one of those characters you didn't feel like she necessarily was yearning for a relationship. So, it didn't really affect me. Aang got the girl, got Katara. They heavily hinted early in the seasons that Aang liked Katara, and Katara always kind of looked at him a little more than a friend, but I think she just always had her focus on the war. She didn't even give Jet or Haru major attention. Just because Katara blushes, guys, does not mean that she's ready to marry somebody. And that's crazy to me that the fandom tried to push Aang to the side all the time. And that's not the only reason either. While Zuko was chasing them around the damn world, he not only used her necklace to track them down and capture Aang, which she voiced herself, but he was calling her and her brother all types of water tribe peasants. It was really giving racism for real. I'm black, and as a minority, I felt like I caught a stray through the TV. It definitely didn't make me think he saw her as attractive at all. Before season 3, there were never any scenes of them even engaging in any non-hostile conversation. You could make the argument that Crossroads of Destiny gives them dialogue, and that is true. But the fact that Aang would have died if she had risked trying to heal Zuko kind of taints my view on that scene. And then Zuko had the motherfucking nerve to pick Azula over them immediately after that. Wow, Zuko, you really weren't shit. Your scar wasn't gonna heal anyway, nigga, but now that you're giving villain, because how could you betray my girl like that? She poured her soul out. Y'all talked about y'all's moms together. All it took for you to turn bad guy again was Azula telling you to come home. She lied once before, and you were prepared to fall for it both times. You even betrayed Iroh. That shit was sad, man. Imagine if we had gotten a full season 3 with Zuko and the gang. By the way, I'm not a Zuko hater. I'm just explaining myself here. I also feel they just don't like each other romantically. Y'all saw how they were looking when the actors who played them were booed up. They were not having that, and neither was Aang. Katara wears her heart on her sleeve when it comes to the boys she likes, and we've seen this before with Jet, Haru, and Aang. I just never got any subtext that suggested even the slightest that they had chemistry. I also just really adore their friendship. I think Zuko put in work to have Katara forgive him, and they make such a nice duo when fighting. I just don't see anything past those friendly qualities they had in season 3. I do, however, have 2 scenes that if I did ship them would have me melting at the seams. I know y'all be replaying these scenes over and over again, and I don't blame you. I hope y'all are eating. When Katara talks to Aang about not being able to forgive the man that killed her mother, she gets up and tells Zuko that she is, however, willing to forgive him. It was such a sweet moment after watching 4 episodes of Katara straight on Zuko's neck. She was pressing him every chance she got. The other is when she heals him after defeating Azula. Everything about this scene was giving. The way she rushes to heal him, his thank you Katara. The scene was such a good representation for how far their relationship had come. I'm gonna chill out for a second and do one that maybe some people will agree with me on. Telltale's The Walking Dead takes place during a zombie apocalypse, just like the TV show of the same name. The game follows Clementine, a girl you watch grow up in the ruined world as she learns how to fend for herself, and in the fourth game, a young child named AJ. As they are saved and brought to a school run by kids and teens alike, they try and protect what ends up becoming a home for them. Last pairing didn't have anything to do with me not liking the character as much as it was about the pair together. This ship is not the case. I really hate that I didn't enjoy Violet's character all that much. At first I was indifferent to her character, writing her off as just another kid in the school who isn't happy about Clementine being there. I slowly started to wean off of my dislike of her once she stood up for Clementine and AJ when they were being kicked out. I feel like there was such a good opportunity to make her have more personality. In my opinion, she's just a little too boring for my tastes. The scenes Clementine and Violet spend together didn't give me a reason to ship them, to the point where I was surprised that there was an option for Violet when I first played. I thought the choices would either be Lewis or no one. I'm not even the biggest Lewis fan, but he's a fun character. At the very least, he's distinguishable and he shows signs of liking Clementine that don't take a magnifier to see. I feel like this was such a missed opportunity for a good lesbian romance. Most of the reason I dislike Violet, however, has to do with when you pick Lewis over her. Like, your ex-boo is on the boat anyway, girl, calm down. We came here to save y'all. I don't hate her character, I just ended up disappointed by what we got, and it turned me off the idea of the ship as a whole. For a game that seemed to have a slight bias for Violet, I was really disappointed in what we got. That being said, Violet came in clutch a couple times. I love that scene where Clementine walks with Violet after AJ is shot and they're let back in. She talks about how worried she was.
I really thought you were dead, Clem.
This video will definitely be continued. Really, I could go on forever, but this takes forever to edit, so new video soon.
Without further ado, let's bring out